Right now, on to the point.
Restrictions on medical exemptions from vaccines for school children. The topic of a heated debate at a Senate committee hearing today on whether state law should change.
California Republicans demanding a special session, sounding the alarm about California's affordability crisis and lack of oversight. The pushback from Democrats and the governor. A special election is set for Eric Swalwell's now vacant congressional seat. Details on the date and what needs to happen before November's general election. And the sky-high cost to fly. From higher ticket prices to rising baggage fees, what you need to know before you book your next flight. Should it be easier for California parents to get a vaccine medical exemption for their child? Thank you for joining us. I'm Alex Bell, and that is the discussion happening right now at the Capitol. ABC 10's Becca Habecker joins us after attending a spirited committee hearing today.
Yeah, Alex, the California Senate Health Committee is considering a bill that could make it easier for children to qualify for medical vaccine exemptions at school. Right now, California does not allow personal belief exemptions, only medical ones. And since 2021, those medical exemptions have come with stricter oversight and additional requirements.
The one thing, Madam Chair, I would like to make very clear to you, the committee, and the public is that this is not an anti-vax bill. This bill does not call into question the efficacy of childhood immunizations.
Republican Senator Brian Jones presented his bill, SB 1377, to the Senate Health Committee Wednesday afternoon. Democratic state senators Ben Allen and Dave Cortese are co-authors.
The bill, we think, represents a narrow, targeted reform, maybe a beginning of a longer conversation. We'll see.
A longer conversation about how California regulates medical vaccine exemptions and whether that needs to change. A law passed in 2019 and which went into effect in 2021 overhauled and standardized the system by which medical exemptions are submitted and overseen. In part, the law flags doctors who submit 5 or more medical exemption forms in a calendar year. The California Department of Public Health then reviews the forms and can revoke any they find to be not medically necessary. A doctor with too many revoked forms can face discipline. Since 2021, 26 doctors have been disciplined. Those opposed to the current system say it makes it more difficult for kids who truly need a medical exemption to find a doctor willing to issue one, saying the state scrutiny creates a chilling effect.
They are being denied equal access to education.
Since 2021, more than 30,000 medical exemptions have been issued. About 2/3 were reviewed by the state, and roughly 15% of those were revoked. Around 100 of those were later overturned on appeal.
This system now has been working very well, and there's no reason to break the system.
Dr. Dean Blumberg is a childhood infectious disease specialist. He and others who support the current law say it provides important oversight and helps prevent doctors from issuing too many exemptions, adding that a high vaccination rate protects everybody from infectious diseases.
And that's why it's so important to continue this oversight to make sure that the medical exemption process is carefully looked at so that children who get the medical exemptions have them for true medical reasons, that these children are protected and the rest of California school children are protected.
He spoke in opposition to Jones's bill, which originally attempted several reforms, but last-minute amendments narrowed its scope.
There are kids in California today that have medical exemptions, and as they get older, they lose those exemptions as they go from elementary to junior high, high school.
Jones's bill was narrowed to simply allow that medical exemption to carry over between schools and not expire. As of my walk to the studio just minutes ago, the senators are still debating various bills at their hearing. They plan on voting on Senator Jones' bill at the end of their meeting, and they have not come close to that quite yet. So we'll have the latest on air and online as soon as that decision comes in.
All right, Becca, thank you so much. And the proposed bill comes as more than 6 measles cases are confirmed in Sacramento County. This brings the total to 11 this year. Today, Sacramento County health officials gave an update on these new cases and also how families can protect themselves.
This tells us that measles is continuing to circulate locally, primarily among children that are not vaccinated. Several of the recent cases are within households, and we also identified an exposure at a pediatric healthcare setting.
Health officials say the risk to the general public remains low, but the risk is higher for people who are not yet fully vaccinated. And it is tax day. Tonight, California Republicans are accusing the state of wasting billions of taxpayer dollars. ABC 10's Jenny Ha has reaction from both sides tonight.
It's time that taxpayers know where their money's being spent.
Clean up your fraud mess.
cut the wasteful spending. We demand a special session. The people demand a special session.
California Republicans reiterating their calls for a special session to investigate what they call fraud, waste, and abuse in the state. In a letter to the governor, Republicans point to programs like Medi-Cal, homelessness spending, and infrastructure, saying oversight is lacking.
Part of the special session would be identifying the fraud, getting the actual numbers so we actually know what we're dealing with, and then putting a plan together with our colleagues from the majority party to how to fix that problem.
Newsom has already been adamant no special session is needed and pointed us to this post when we asked for a response. Republicans say they plan to bring a motion for a special session Thursday on the Assembly floor. They point to recent cases like a $270 million healthcare fraud scheme uncovered just last week in California. Attorney General Rob Bonta announced charges against 21 people, including healthcare fraud, money laundering, and identity theft for stolen personal data and fraudulent enrollment in state healthcare programs.
To the fraudsters listening, California is no longer your open bar. The tab is closed and the lights are coming on.
And the billions spent on homelessness.
The state has failed to solve this crisis. Are we surprised? No.
And critiques over the state's delay in modernizing its emergency communication system known as Next Generation 911, as well as the Capitol Annex project long scrutinized for lack of transparency despite estimates to cost taxpayers over $1 billion.
A 1.1 dare I say, ugly building.
But Republican legislators say they're even more concerned by attempts to reduce transparency.
Not only are we unwilling to investigate fraud, but our legislature is quite literally moving in the opposite direction.
In the hot seat, AB 2624 by Democratic Assemblymember Mia Bonta, which Republicans have dubbed the Stop Nick Shirley Act, the YouTuber who recently went viral for videos alleging fraud at Minnesota daycares. Bonta says the bill is intended to offer privacy and anti-harassment protections to organizations that provide immigration support services. DeMaio argues he's worried the bill could have a chilling effect on free speech.
They're trying to keep secrets. They're trying to stop the investigators from capturing stuff on video and then exposing that to the public.
Bonta on X says all of that is false. She was unavailable for an interview despite multiple attempts.
People who work to help immigrant communities should not have to fear being doxxed for doing so, and giving them real legal tools to prevent and respond to targeted harassment. If MAGA can't tell the difference between journalism and doxing, that's on them.
Jenny Hutt, ABC 10.
Republicans also raised concerns over a potential conflict of interest with the bill, as Assemblymember Bonta is the wife of AG Rob Bonta, who would have to prosecute cases of fraud in the state. The Assemblywoman's office declined to comment on these allegations. In the race for governor, the California Teachers Association is now officially endorsing Democratic candidate Tom Steyer. The union previously endorsed Eric Swalwell, but dropped their endorsement after he dropped out of the race following allegations of sexual assault and harassment. Days after resigning from Congress, this was the scene today at the entrance to the former Washington, D.C. office of Eric Swalwell. His nameplate has been removed. Eric Swalwell's resignation is triggering a second election in the East Bay. That is in addition to the upcoming June primary, and it could cost millions of dollars and also send voters to the polls multiple times in just weeks. Reporter Monica Madden breaks it down for us.
Eric Swalwell's resignation from Congress is setting off a fast and expensive election shuffle in the East Bay. Gavin Newsom setting a special election primary for June 16th and a likely runoff on August 18th.
It can be confusing to voters, especially in this really compressed time span.
That special primary comes just 2 weeks after the regular June 2nd primary, where voters were already set to choose who represents the district for the next full term.
Hypothetically, couldn't Newsom have just left this seat vacant?
This is how a democracy works, that you have to have a special election, so that way the people of his district or old district, right, are represented. And the way the system is set up now, even though it can be confusing, it is about making sure that people have a say.
Adding to the confusion, Swalwell's name will still be on the ballot for California governor.
And most people are going to assume his name's not going to be on the ballot, right? When they see his name on the ballot, not understanding, of course, that those ballots were already printed and it was past any dates, right, to make any changes.
And unlike the U.S. Senate, where governors can appoint a replacement, House vacancies have to be filled through a special election.
The California governor, right, the process requires him to hold a special election, although he does have a lot of discretion in the amount of time that he has to actually call this election.
Getting voters to the polls multiple times is expected to be a challenge.
That the special election, as it's been called after the primary, is probably going to see a very low turnout. Special elections generally do.
Alameda County estimates the special election will cost about $23 million, paid for by the county.
And keep in mind, if someone wins outright in that June 16th primary special election, there won't even be an August runoff. But either way, it's multiple elections for the same seat in a very short window. All right, still ahead onto the point. Air travel is getting more expensive, mostly due to the war in Iran. Coming up, the higher cost to fly and the extra charges that are probably here to stay. The Senate blocks an effort to limit President Trump's war powers in Iran, the measure failing again along party lines, but Democrats say they are not backing down.
Seasonal temperatures continue the next couple of days, but tomorrow is going to be quite windy. We've got a wind advisory. I'll talk about just how windy it'll be after the break.
But first, another headlines tonight. A jury today found Live Nation and its Ticketmaster subsidiary had a harmful monopoly over big concert venues. Live Nation Entertainment owns, operates, or has equity interest in hundreds of venues. The civil case, initially led by the U.S. federal government, accused Live Nation of using its reach to smother competition. Today's verdict does not bring an immediate change to ticket prices or fees. A second trial will be held to decide what remedies and changes should be made. President Trump says that he might fire the Federal Reserve Chair next month. That's if Jerome Powell doesn't step down from his leadership role when his chair term ends May 15th. Trump wants Kevin Warsh for the role, but he's facing an obstacle in the Senate. Key Republican Senator Tom Tillis says that he won't vote to confirm Warsh unless a Justice Department probe into Powell ends. Powell says that he won't leave the panel until the investigation ends. And King Charles is coming to America later this month to mark the 250th anniversary of U.S. independence. The trip includes a rare address to a joint meeting of Congress. Charles will also meet privately with President Trump and the First Lady. All right, Brendan, our highs were pretty seasonal, but I heard the wind is moving in, which for those of us that have allergies, that doesn't seem great for tomorrow.
I'll be honest with you. I've already been taking the allergy medication this week, knowing that the wind is coming, because last time it was quite windy. I was very sneezy. I did not handle it well. So just a tip, take the allergy meds because we got more wind on the way. 70 was the high today in Sacramento, 74 in Stockton, 73, Tracy, 74, Modesto, 50s in the high country. Temperatures, once again, very seasonal. We've not had a lot of seasonal days since the start of March. In fact, all of last month, just 3 days did we have temperatures within 3 degrees Fahrenheit of climate normals. This month, we've doubled that number, including today. 6 days have been within 3 degrees Fahrenheit of climate normals. So again, have not had a lot of seasonal days. Enjoy the temperatures being where they should be for the time of year. 66 in Sacramento right now, 68 in Stockton, 71 in Modesto, 46 in Truckee, and 47 in Tahoe. Looking towards downtown, finally seeing a little bit more sunshine out there. 66 degrees. We are going to have those clouds clearing through the next several hours as we go into the overnight, but we also have winds picking up through the overnight as well. 45 in Sacramento to start Thursday morning, 47 Stockton, 49 Modesto, 20s in the high country. And again, another seasonal day tomorrow in the low 70s, but really the story's not so much about the temperatures tomorrow as much as it is about the wind, because wind advisory begins at 5 o'clock in the morning, continues until 11 p.m. tomorrow. So let's look at those future winds. Right now, some onshore winds, but through the overnight, those winds flip and become more northerly. By 10 o'clock in the morning, we've got some very strong winds across the Sacramento Valley, especially on the west side of the valley, where wind gusts could be 40+ miles per hour. For most of the valley through tomorrow, wind gusts are going to be between 25 and 35 miles per hour, with the strongest winds in the Sacramento Valley, especially along the west side of the valley. Those winds are going to continue through Thursday night and early Friday morning before slowly tapering off as Friday goes on. And it's because this system here is just kind of passing off to the northeast, so bringing us those northerly winds, but not much else. This system coming in early next week, though, is going to bring us a chance for some showers and thunder in the valley, a little snow in the high country, but there's still a lot of model uncertainty here. So as early as Sunday, we could start to see some showers, but certainly by Monday, Tuesday, our shower chances going up. Immediately, though, we stay seasonal with a lot of wind tomorrow. Alex.
All right, Brendan, thank you. And don't forget, our ABC 10 Weather Impact team is always here for you if you do want to get the latest conditions anytime. You can check out our 24/7 radar on our free streaming app. Just scan that QR code right there on your screen, and it'll have directions on how you can download. All right, after the break, we are taking a closer look at the price of flying at a time where summer travel plans are just getting started. Airlines are hitting travelers with high prices and extra fees. A look at how you can save a little bit of money before you book that trip. And later, we are taking a look ahead at our Champions of Hope, a high school student turning his morning coffee routine into something much bigger, one cup at a time. Welcome back in. The Senate once again rejected a measure aimed at limiting President Trump's war powers in Iran. This marks the fourth time the Democratic-led effort has failed. Republicans blocked the resolution from advancing, with the vote coming in at 52-47. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer has said that Democrats are going to force a war powers vote every week for the foreseeable future. Some Republicans have indicated that they may support the measure once the conflict hits the 60-day mark. Well, we all know that traveling is getting a lot more expensive. Jet fuel prices have skyrocketed, and many airlines are passing on those costs to us, the travelers. Reporter Jen Sullivan has the details on the price hikes and ways that you can save a little bit of money.
Soaring jet fuel costs due to the war with Iran is causing airlines to jack up prices, and consumers are feeling the crunch.
It is rolling across the global economy. What we've first seen has been pretty intense spikes in the price of fuel oil and the price of jet fuel.
Since the war began, jet fuel costs have jumped 95%, and it's hurting global travel.
In Europe, they're canceling flights, thousands of flights already preemptively, because they may not even be able to get enough jet fuel. There are shortages.
Brian Kelly, founder of the travel site The Points Guy, says airlines are passing on those added costs to travelers.
Consumers will have to shell out more, not just on the price of the ticket, but on fees as well.
Several airlines have recently jacked up bag fees. Some of the steepest costs are through American and United Airlines. Both have increased checked bag fees by $10. So it would now cost you $100 round trip to check your first bag. And those fees go up for any extra checked luggage.
Those don't come down ever. I have never heard of a baggage fee that came down once costs came down. So those are forever fees tacked on to airfare.
In many cases, you can save $5 by simply paying online instead of at the ticket counter. Also, Kelly says many airlines will waive the bag fee entirely if you purchase your trip using certain credit cards. Every airline is different, and you have to do your homework on which cards will give you the best deals.
Coming up, a look ahead at what we're working on for tomorrow in our Champions of Hope. What started as a family tradition is now growing a small business. All right, before we go here, for many of us, coffee is part of a daily routine. It's a quick cup before work, a quiet moment just to start the day. But for Harvey, a Davis high schooler who started his own coffee business, each cup is helping build something much, much bigger. It's a family tradition that he's working to carry on. His decades-old coffee roaster that you see right there is still going strong and serving up bags of fresh coffee. But for Harvey, it's more than just a machine. It's where time, effort, and also memories come together. What started as a simple routine with his dad has grown into something much bigger with deeper meaning. Now, with the help of his best friend, that routine is a business that has neighbors buying up their coffee beans.
We got some coffee for you, Jill.
I've abandoned all my other coffee. It's so good. It actually makes you look forward to getting up in the morning and having that coffee for sure.
What began in that backyard is reaching far beyond it, one cup at a time. Tomorrow, we're going to be showing you how Harvey and his best friend Dash are serving up fresh coffee for their community and how the money they've earned is giving back to others. Now, I do not even drink coffee, but let me tell you, he did make me a fresh cup. It was super delicious, so I can't wait to share this story with you. As always, thank you so much for watching and for always inviting us into your home. If you have something you think we should be looking into, you already know you can reach out to our team anytime. Have a great night. I'll see you tomorrow.